Old Gun Guy here. Welcome to my video today, which will be on the 250, the magnificent 257 Weatherby Magnum rifle cartridge. And the rifle I got shooting it is a Weatherby accumark in 257 Weatherby, 26-inch barrel version. I go into the rifle first and then the cartridge. Weatherby has been known for high-performance Magnum cartridges since 1945 when he started the company commercially producing rifles. The 257 Weatherby was Roy Weatherby, his first cartridge design, I believe, in 1944. It's based on the 375 or the 300 H&H Magnum cases, shortened and neck down to 25 caliber. The 25 caliber has been very popular in the late part of the 19th century, the very end of it, and the 20th century. I think I got, there we go. All right. The end of the 19th century, about 1895, there was a cartridge, the 2520, 25 caliber, 20 grains of black powder. It was made for the Winchester 1894 rifle, 1892 rifle, I'm sorry. And it was very popular as a varmint cartridge. About 1915, 1914, Savage, I think it was Charles Newton actually developed it for Savage, a 25 caliber cartridge, 1915, called the 250 Savage or the 250-3000 Savage. It was the first commercial cartridge. It used smokeless powder. It would achieve 3,000 feet a second with an 87 grain projectile. It was very popular with deer rifle, very light coil, deer rifle, varmint rifle. Then in the 20s, I forget who developed it, but they necked down the 7mm Mauser cartridge to 25 caliber. Came out with a cartridge called the 257 Roberts, and that became standardized by the commercial ammunition factories. And it's a very fine deer round, and it can also be used for varmints, being 25 caliber. Then in the 20s also, the 30-06 was necked down by, it was a gunsmith, Needner, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He necked down the 30-06 to 25 caliber, and you have the 25-06, and became a very popular Wildcat cartridge, and it had to wait all the way until 1969 before Remington introduced it as a standard cartridge, the 25-06. And 25-06 is pretty potent 25 caliber, far superior to the earlier Savage and the Roberts. It run in all bullet weights, 300 to 350 feet a second less than the 257 Weatherby. Roy Weatherby wanted to build hot rod cartridges, and came out with a very fine, very versatile cartridge, 257 Weatherby Magnum. It was designed, it was shortened and designed to fit in a 30-06 length action, so you didn't need a Magnum action. The grandfather, let's go into the cartridge. This is the 375 H&H Magnum. This is the 30-06. You see the difference in size. The 257 Weatherby, I got here, a case, and loaded round. This is the 257 Weatherby here, the 375 H&H. They share the common, case head dimension, 532 thousandths of an inch, but it's been considerably shortened, and the characteristic trademark of all Weatherby cartridges is this double rounded or radiused shoulder. All of the Weatherby cartridges have that. Roy Weatherby's theory was it aided in smoothing the gas flow out as it was launching a projectile. if I put the 3006 side by side with the 257 Weatherby, you see the Weatherby's overall length is a little bit shorter than the 06, but the Weatherby will fit in the standard 3006 length action, where the 375 H&H needs a Magnum action. For comparison, I have probably the other most popular Weatherby cartridge here in existence, the 300 Weatherby Magnum and the 257 Weatherby. But the 300 Weatherby needs a full-length Magnum action like the 375 H&H. So that's one of the benefits of this design that Roy came up with. The useful bullet weights are about 75 or 80 grains to 120 grains. You can launch an 80 grain bullet about 3,800 feet, 3,850 feet a second out of the 257 Weatherby. The 100 grain bullets as high as 3,600 feet a second. The 115s 3,400 feet a second, and the 120s about 3,300 feet a second. So it's moving along there. The 257 Weatherby has been, it's a 257,000th of an inch projectile. The max chamber pressure is 62,500 psi, SAMI spec. Belted Magnum case, 532 thousandths of an inch. The overall length is, I think, max is 3.170. 3 inches, 170 thousandths of an inch. Max overall length, slightly shorter than the 06. The very flat shooting cartridge. In the summary, I'll pull out a trajectory table and just go over that. But this is just the intro to this. An empty case. You can see the double radius, shoulders of the. This is a Nosler 115 grain Nosler ballistic tip. This light blue polymer tip on it. The 257 Weatherby can be used from varmint type game. Obviously, it doesn't make a fine prairie dog rifle because you would heat it up and burn a barrel out, just to, it'd be a waste. But coyote, woodchuck, fox, anything, any varmint you can name, depending on the bullet, all the way up to deer, pronghorn, doll sheep out west, long shots. The pronghorn are always long shots, 300-400 yards. That's where this excels. You can shoot any deer species, elk, moose, successfully taken. The factory ammo I got here, this Barnes TTSX is like a monolithic solid, very good bullet. That you can shoot elk and moose with. Black bear, I wouldn't use it on the brown bears or the grizzly bears, but perfectly suitable for that. It's been used in Africa in the game up to the size of zebra, the kudu, and stuff like that. Very versatile. So you pretty much hunt everything in North America except for the large bears with the 257 Weatherby. The recoil is modest, about 3006 like, maybe a hair more, depending on the rifle. This rifle's fairly light. It's got a fluted barrel. I'll go into the rifle in a minute. But what we're using here. This is actually made in Japan by, I don't know if it's Miraku for Weatherby, but it's a very fine, finely made rifle. It's got an aluminum bedding block, very much like the old Remington Police 700 rifles or the Senderos. You drop the floor plate. Yep. See if I can get it to unlock. Button you push in the front of the trigger guard, and you can open up the floor plate and drop the cartridges, like a Remington BDL. Safety's very Remington-like. It's on the right side, rear receiver, on, off, 2 position. And start at the tip, the nose here. You get a recessed target crown style barrel, medium medium to lightweight barrel, fluted, stainless steel, 26 inches in length. Nice composite stock. I have a extended Harris bipod on this, and it's got pretty tall legs. This is a Weatherby Vanguard. I think accumark. Vanguard accumark. 257 Weatherby. Mark safe and fire. The trigger is nice. I'll do that in a summary too, if he'll bring out the trigger gauge. But it's a 90-degree bolt throw. Bolts very smooth. It's got the trademark Weatherby stock with this raised Monte Carlo cheek rest, and a downward bent, downward drop, I guess, to mitigate the recoil, or felt recoil. Take the bolt out. You push this button when you're pulling the bolt out. Very Remington-like. It's a, put the rifle down. It's a 90-degree bolt, 2 locking lugs. Again, looks a lot like a Remington. It's got a plunger ejector. It's got a Seiko-style extractor, recessed bolt face. Let's put the empty case in there. The plunger pushes it out. Gets right under the extractor there. Bolts even fluted. And it's got the gas vent ports in case you have a catastrophic cartridge failure. And if you're going to shoot any type of Magnum rifle, you should really have a 26-inch barrel. You want everything. No sense getting a Magnum if you're going to handicap it with a shorter barrel. It's got a little play here before you get the trigger, but it breaks clean at about, it feels like 2 or 3 pounds. It's very light. I got stainless steel rings on it. I don't have the best of scope here. This is actually a Nikon P223 3x9 power by 42 millimeter. It's repeatable, it's clear, and it's adequate for hunting rifle 3x9, as most of my rifles were. As I'm most expensive, I'll do a limited velocity test with 2 or maybe 3 different types of ammo. One of these factory rounds, they're like almost $4 a shot, and my hand loads. Just to give you a baseline example, do an accuracy test 100 yards, 2 3-shot groups. I'm going to use this factory and 150. This is a 100 grain Bond bullet, factory round, and this is 115 grain nozzle ballistic tip and hand load. I'm going to do something different with the ballistic pendulums. When I get the camera down 100, I'll then put it on the plate, and I'm going to shoot the same plate. It's a 10-inch plate, because the other one's got a busted trap. The 257 Weatherby will go sailing through my plate at 25 yards, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to shoot the 223 just off the bench, observe the recoil, shoot it just on a rest, nothing fancy. No recoil with the 223, the modest recoil of the 257 Weatherby, and then close up on the energy imparted to the 10-inch plate. I'm going to shoot the same plate, 223 first, and then the 257 Weatherby. Accuracy target. If I get a chance, I'm going to shoot some of the 220-yard steel, just to show you how quick it gets out there. And if I do get a chance to get out to the public range, maybe I'll shoot it at 400 or 500, but we'll see. Like I said, I'm pretty busy with other things. I put these little videos together when I get a chance. We're going to the test now, and then all my observations, anything I forgot, I'll wrap up in a summary. So the shooting's in the middle, introduction in the beginning, and summary at the end. And we'll get on to the shooting. Just going to do a quick chronograph test on the 257 Weatherby Magnum. That is Weatherby accumark. Seeing as the rounds are $3 to $4 a shot. A couple of my hand loads and 1 factory load. So First up, I'm going to do a shot of this. It's Weatherby's Barnes 100 grain TTSX. Let's see what that does. And that's what it looks like with the Barnes bullet. (3,550 62 feet per second). The other cameras are on to record that. This is my 110 grain Hornady VLD, ELD. It's in a classic Weatherby box. 257 Weatherby Magnum. That's what that looks like. Okay. And that was 3,505 feet per second. Last up, another hand load, nozzle 115 grain ballistic tip. (3,376 feet a second). I've clocked that round before. It's generally 3,400 feet a second out of this Weatherby accumark. That's it for our chronograph baseline. Like I said, at $3 to $4 a shot. Even when you hand load, this is expensive. Just to give you a general idea of what you can expect out of this cartridge. Okay, gonna do our accuracy test here. 100 yards. Get 2 aiming points and use 2 ammunitions. First up will be this hand load. It's a nozzle 115 grain ballistic tip, and it's doing just about 3,500 feet a second. 3481. Then we're going to use this factory Weatherby Select 100 grain Barnes TTSX, 3 rounds, 3 shots a piece, 2 3-shot groups. Ammo's expensive, especially this ammo. I already have the nozzler in the rifle. The other camera's running down there. Put my ears on and take the shots. Shoot off the bipod. I'm going to go for the top target with this 115 nozzler. shot. Just try not to lose the brass. I'm going to load up with the factory Weatherby. I'd rate the recoil 3006, maybe a hair more. It's not bad though. Hunter Crane Barnes. I got confused for a second. I thought it was my hand loader. It wasn't. This is the factory stuff. It's got a little purplish tip. It's a monolithic bullet, I believe. I believe it's solid copper. These are doing 35.50. Bottom aiming point. Yeah, it's a little bit better. All right, bottom target. That a hair to the right. All right, I'm gonna pause this camera and go down and fetch the target. All right, retrieved the target in the other camera. Through the scope, I can see the energy imparted to the plate, and the plate survived, no holes in it, at 100 yards. The comparative energy imparted to the 10-inch steel plate, 223 versus the 257 Weatherby. Quite a lot bit more with the Weatherby. This is my hand load. Really not that good. I have been developing hand loads for this rifle, just not intensively. This is the factory load. 2 shots in the same hole, and I pulled that. I called that from the bench. I knew when the shot broke. this would definitely be sub MOA. And Weatherby says if you use their factory ammo, they guarantee sub MOA groups. And it is, from the limited shooting I've done over the last 6 or 7 years with it, it is a very accurate rifle, a very accurate hunt rifle. I'll probably do some smack the 220 yard plate a couple times, you know, with the long range camera. I'll have to set that up, and if I get a chance in a couple of days, maybe I'll run out to the public range and shoot this at 400 and 500 yards. I mean, that'd be my absolute limit on the 257 Weatherby as far as, you know, hunting goes. Really a good 400 yard rifle, very flat shooting. All right, on to the next thing. Okay, I'm going to do a ballistic pendulum. I'm actually going to be shooting a 10-inch plate at 100 yards. The same plate I'm going to shoot with both rifles. The always base is a Savage Axis 223 bolt gun, 55 grain full metal jacket, and I have a 115 grain Nosler ballistic tip, one of my hand loads, and just about 3,500 feet a second at the 100 yard plate. The other camera's running on the plate. This is also comparative recoil. You'll see the 223, you know, just fired off this rest here versus the 257 Weatherby, just for comparison, and to save ammo. And plus the 257, if I shot it at 25 yards, it drove right through the plate, so I don't want to do that. So first up will be the 223. And plate swinging. And the sun's coming right in my eyes. All right. Let's do the 257 Weatherby. And the most recoil you're going to feel or felt off a rifle is off the bench. So, just for comparison. Oh yeah. Plate swinging away. All right. I'm going to pause this. Okay, got to take 3 shots at the steel down there. Get 3 shots at the gun, 115 grain Nosler ballistic tip, doing about 3,500 feet a second, just to demonstrate how quick it gets out there. Do 2 on the 220 and maybe 1 on the 150, or maybe 3 on the 220. But I put my ears on. The long range camera's running, so it's on the plate. And it smacks out with quite a bit of authority. Try another one. Oh yeah, swinging pretty good. I think I'll do the last one at the 150. There's 2 plates at the 150. I think I don't want to do the little one. Knock it off the strap. Do the big one. It's almost instantaneous. It's a very hot round, the 257 Weatherby. That'll be it for the steel. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance on this video to go out to the public range and do the 400 yard. I've undecided yet. See if I might have conflicting schedules. And it smacks that with quite a bit of authority. Try another one. Oh yeah, swinging pretty good. I think I'll do the last one at the 150. There's 2 plates at the 150. I think I don't want to do the little one. Knock it off the strap. Do the big one. It's almost instantaneous. Okay, I'm going to do my terminal effects test on the 257 Weatherby Magnum. This will be the factory Weatherby, loaded with a 100 grain Barnes TTSX projectile. A little bluish purple tip on the end of it. I got this set up a little different. First jug, 6 inches of water, fresh 3/4 inch piece of ply. You get 2 jugs side by side in case the bullet deviates. Hopefully I can capture the projectile. That's why I set up like this, kind of like bowling pins. Piece of witness board, 3 more jugs, 2 more 3/4 inch sheets of plywood with 2 water jugs behind it. Hopefully in this mass of water and wood I'll capture a projectile. We'll give it a shot. I'm going to put this camera back and not on me when I'm shooting, because I'm going to go back even further, just on the overall scene, and the second camera will run it in slow motion. So let me pause this and we'll set that up. Okay, my ears are on. I'm going to go back and take the shot and see if we can capture this round. Okay, let me pause this and clean this mess up and see if we can find a bullet. Okay, it's pretty interesting. A lot of straight line penetration, but it broke apart. I did not recover the projectile. There were 3 jacket fragments on the table. One was in a water jug, but very impressive performance. This is the first jug it struck, vaporized it. I don't even know where it went in. I think it went in there. Blew the whole jug to smithereens. Hit the plywood, straight and true. Nice big exit hole. Hit the next jug. Ripped right through. Went through the witness board. Right there. The 3rd layer of jugs. I can't make out which one it hit. It destroyed the 2 side by side ones. And punch clean through the second 3/4 inch sheet of plywood. Starting to deviate. And the jacket or a fragment hit this jug that was behind the second sets of plywood, ripped a hole in it, and there was a jacket fragment in here, but I didn't recover the projectile. I think I have enough water jugs. I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to set them up in a straight line now and see what happens with that. So maybe clean all this up. And okay, try number 2 with the Weatherby Select 110 grain Barnes TTSX projectile. Jug of water, 3/4 inch piece of plywood. It's marked. That was the one that was shot. Another jug of water, 6 inches. Another 3/4 inch piece of plywood. That's marked. Was shot. You know, just previously. Another 3/4 inch piece of plywood between that jug. 4th jug. 2 pieces of untouched plywood, brand new plywood, overlapping, in hopes of catching the projectile. I get everything linear this time. We'll see what happens. I'm going to bring this back on the overall scene and set the other camera into slow motion and take the shot. I'll be taking the shot off camera because I'm going back pretty far, because the hydrostatic shock and the blast of the water reaches back 20 yards. So, all right, let me pause this. Okay, set up. I'm going to take the shot. Okay, my jug is rolling away here. All right, let me clean this up and autopsy it. Okay, pretty impressive. I believe I captured the bullet, but I'm gonna have to dig it out of the 3rd sheet of plywood. Impressive performance. I'm not sure where it entered, but it vaporized the 1st jug. This was the 1st shot. This is the 2nd shot, went completely through. The 1st sheet of 3/4 inch ply. Jug number 2 entered here and ripped it to shreds. Plywood piece number 2 went through, completely through, started shedding pieces of jacket. I found another piece of jacket on the table. 2nd sheet of plywood. 3rd jug entered here, split it. There was no fragments inside the 3rd jug. 3rd piece of 3/4 inch ply struck here, bowed out the plywood, almost exited. The 3/4 inch sheets of plywood. That's pretty impressive, considering I'm only shooting it from 25 yards away. The bullet apparently held together. I'm going to pause the camera so you can dig this out with a knife or a screwdriver and see what's left of it. Okay, I got the projectile. I'm going to have to weigh it. Held together nicely. Shed part of his jacket. That's, you know, fragments in the wood. You know, it feels like 70 or 80 grains. It's pretty substantial, and it almost went through the 3rd 3/4 inch piece of plywood, and that's being fired 3,550 feet a second from 25 yards away. That's impressive performance for a bullet, any hunting bullet. It really is. That would punch clean through, you know, pretty much any big game animal in North America. This particular bullet. Those 3/4 inch piece of plywood simulate heavy bone, so yeah, it would break 2 shoulder bones and go right through them, and obviously through the fluid medium, the water. So that's pretty impressive. But that'll be it for the terminal effects demonstration here. Maybe I'll make a separate clip of this terminal effects and just put it up as a short, and on to the next test demonstration. Okay, back for our summary with the king of the quarter bore, the 257 Weatherby Magnum cartridge, and the Weatherby Vanguard accumark rifle in stainless steel. In the introduction, I do this without script. I just pull the stuff out of my head. I forgot to explain what quarter bore means for those who are newer. It's an old-timer reference to a very popular caliber in the 20th century, the 25 caliber, quarter of an inch. That's where you get the quarter bore designation. And the 257 Weatherby from 1944 till today is pretty much the king of the 25 calibers. Most of the other 25 calibers have faded into either obsolescence or obscurity or lesser used, but there's still a lot of rifles kicking around in the other 25 caliber cartridges. 257 Weatherby is very versatile, from small game all the way up to elk, moose, black bear, African plains game. It's been used successfully many times on, and I believe it's Roy Weatherby's favorite cartridge. Did a chronograph test, and the first up was this Weatherby factory ammunition. It's 110 grain Barnes TTSX projectile. I believe it's hybrid, copper and softer pedals in the front, but I only shot one apiece, and that's the reason. That's the price of factory ammo. It's $84, not including taxes. So you're talking almost $4.50 a shot by the time you walk out of the store. Very good ammunition, the factory load. I have the velocity figures here. Only fired one shot, 3,562 feet per second, very fast. The energy was 2,818 foot-pounds. That's a pretty good amount for the 25 caliber. I'm going to hold this up. If anybody can read my doctor-like writing, but my first hand load was a Hornady 110 grain Hornady ELD projectile. Velocity was 3,500 feet a second, and the energy was 3,001 foot-pounds. And the last was my hand load, 115 grain Nosler ballistic tip. Velocity 3,376 feet a second, and the energy was 2,911. So actually the Hornady 110 edged out the Barnes 100 grain and energy figures. Before I forget, if anybody's interested in the hand loading data here, the 110 Hornady ELD projectile, IMR 4350 powder, 63.6 grains. Federal Magnum rifle primer, and I wrote on the box 1 MOA. I probably should have used this instead of the Nosler. The other one, the 115 Nosler ballistic tip, 70.5 grains of reloader 25, which has become extremely scarce these days. Federal 215 Magnum, large Magnum rifle primer. And I wrote on a box 3,480, but I didn't get that on a chrono this time. If you're going to have this cartridge and you hand load, you'll save yourself quite a bit of money. Trajectory for the Barnes load, ran it off the okay, on the box, I use the box's figure. 3,570 feet a second, very close to what I got. 100 yards, 3,312, 200, 3,079, all the way out. They have it at a 300 yard zero. 0 to 300, it's 2.9 inches high at 100, 3.7 inches high at 200, dead on at 300, 8.8 inches low at 400, and 23 inches low at 500. I ran my figures on a Sierra ballistics program, same projectile, with a 200 yard zero. That's kind of my standard hunting rifle zero. And I'll hold it up, and then I'll read it. It's 0 to 200. So at 100 yards, it's 0.7 of an inch high above the point of aim, the line of sight. 200 yards, it's 0. 300 yards, it only drops 4.3 inches. 400 yards, it drops 12.9 inches. And the energy at 400 yards is 1,573 feet a second. And that was a magical figure, energy foot-pounds, to take out an elk or a moose. You know, you need at least that much striking energy. That was the old rule of thumb, you know. It's all about shot placement, bullet design, you know, and taking out the vitals. Very flat shooting cartridge. I only ran it to 400 yards because that's kind of my limit. I won't take shots at 600 or 700 yards of a game animal. They deserve a humane end. One shot, one kill. Did the chronograph, did the accuracy test. This was the Nosler 115 grain ballistic tip. Pretty much zeroed, I guess, for 100. A little high, 2 MOA. This was the factory Weatherby. 2 shots in the same hole, and 1 I pulled. And that's completely on me. But if I didn't do that, they'd probably be, they'd all be touching, you know, half MOA. Weatherby guarantees sub MOA performance with this rifle. If you use their factory ammo, it's very good ammo. Very pricey, like I said before. This is $83.95 for a box. Did the accuracy test. I did the ballistic. Oh, I forgot to use the trigger pull gauge in the first introduction there, in the beginning. Rifle breaks anywhere from 4 to 4.5 pounds. I'll do it on camera. Oh, gun guy, you didn't clear that. Yeah, it's clear. I don't put loaded weapons on the table. But you should always be careful. As an aside, this round will carry 4 miles if you shoot it 35 degrees off the horizon and be lethal that entire range. Not accurate, but that's its maximum range, about 7,700 yards. Let's put the trigger gauge on, give it a little pull. All right, 4 pounds. It's got a little bit of take up, a little bit of wiggle, and it's real like a glass rod, real clean trigger. Real nice rifle, and it has all Weatherby rifles have this downward comb, this rake on the comb for the stock. That's their trademark. It's even on the wood stocks in the old days, same thing. Did the comparative recoil. I did it with a 223 off the bench with the rifle on me, the camera on me, and the other camera at 100 yards. And at the same time doing a ballistic pendulum. There's a 10-inch plate down there. Hit it with the 223, the close up on the plate, and then with the 257 Weatherby. I think I used 115 grain Nosler. Quite a lot of smack. I shot plates out to 220 yards. I used the Nosler again. It gets out there like, you know, super high velocity round, and carries. It gets there quick and it's flat shooting. You know, smacks the plate really good at 220 yards, and then I hit the other plate, the 8-inch at 150, and you know, it really smacks it hard. And it's almost indiscernible from the time you pull the trigger till it's hitting the plate. You know, as soon as you see it, as soon as you pull the trigger, you see it, the bullet hit the plate in the scope. The sound is, you know, delayed, you know, tiny fraction of a second as it comes back 150 yards, but that's how it is. Did the terminal effect test. I did 2 of the Barnes, because the first one I didn't recover the projectile, but both of them went through 6-inch jug of water, 1-inch, 3/4 inch piece of plywood, simulating heavy bone, another jug of water, another 2 jug. I do every jug. I have to review the film, but another 3/4 inch piece of plywood, another jug of water, and it went almost through the third 3/4 inch sheet of plywood after blasting through all that water. And It expanded nicely. The projectile did recover. I forgot to weigh it. Started at 100 grain. If I had to guess, it's around 80 grains left. The front of it mushroomed off, and there is a couple of fragments. There's a couple of fragments, I guess, from the very tip of the bullet. But that's excellent performance. You see the rifle marks on the projectile and the mushroom projectile. That would adequately penetrate any big game animal. As far as versatility, you can't beat this cartridge or the rifle that it shoots. If you wanted to hunt everything in North America and totally cover yourself and just have 2 hunting rifles, 257 Weatherby and 338 Winchester Magnum. You take anything in North and South America and most of Africa and probably all of Europe and anywhere else you want to hunt. The 338 caliber is not legal in a lot of African countries for dangerous game. You need 375 or above. So if you were in Africa, 257 Weatherby and 375 H&H or 416 Rigby or one of them. But if you didn't want to have a collection of hunting rifles like I do, you get away with them too. Terminal effects test, excellent. It is the king of the quarter bore. Excellent cartridge. It's not real popular, but it's probably the most popular of the 25s left, with the 2506 like neck and neck with it. Another fine cartridge. The other ones are pretty much obsolete. And it was a very popular cartridge. Now, the rage today is the 6.5 millimeter rounds, at 264 thousandths of an inch. This is slightly smaller. It's probably, I don't know, 6.25 millimeter if I had to do the metric designation. But that's it. I put this together over several days because I'm doing chores here. Either rain, it's going to get brutally hot today. It was nice the last couple of days, but you gotta watch out for the rattlesnakes when I'm going through the grass and towards the targets out there. I don't want to step on one of them, and they are out here. So, but that's all I have for now. If you click that little bell, it'll tell you when I put a video out. Like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. It's appreciated if you do that. And I'm Old Gun Guy, and have a good day.